Hi, welcome to an Easy Trader update on October the 10th. That's a Wednesday, just to remind myself. Right, here we go. Let's look at the pound dollar first. And what we're seeing here is that we put a pivot swing in on Monday, and Tuesday we just saw a bit more sell-off from that sort of, they actually triggered the sort of sell-off point. Now, quite often these little pivot swings will go for a bigger move down. Other times they just trigger and move 40, 50 points, 100 points, but it's still got some chance of actually breaking lower. We've got the 50 MA below us, which may just be sufficient. It hasn't been hit for a long time. It was sort of early August last time it's been touched, so the price just normally reverts back to mean, and it may just want to come back and touch this 50. It's a key, the 50 moving average being one of the key moving averages that the big boys look at. So if it does come down to that sort of level, it may provide some good support as well. What we're seeing in the shorter time frame, actually let's just look at the 4 hours for you first, and we were in this descending channel. It broke the bottom of the descending channel, so it's still effectively in a descending channel. It's got a chance to run up a little bit further in the short term. I'm just looking at this sort of picture here. It's still quite bearish looking. But if you look at the hourly picture, we've got a chance of it hitting the hourly 50 for you short-term traders out there. It could just plug up to that, hit that, and come off. It's not a million miles away as I'm recording this. There's a reasonable chance of that happening. If it does, as I say, the downside targets obviously are today's lows, and then most likely the daily 50 is not a million miles away. So that's looking at cable. Let's just run on, have a quick look at euro. Now there's no news out today, and this week is a bit lighter on news after non-farm. Second week of the month is always a bit lighter. Let's look at the bigger time frames first on the euro. And again, we had the pivot swing on Monday, much bigger down day yesterday. We got support not a million miles below us. It's certainly looking a tad weaker this morning, and I think it's certainly got the potential to get down and hit this 200 again. The thing is, the 200 has actually been hit, which might make the daily 50 a better target in terms of where it may get to. If it breaks, I mean, we're at this sort of key point here with euro, because if it breaks this low here, well then it's put a lower high in from here. So if you're looking at lower highs, you would expect a move probably 1-to-1 from this move here to here down to here, which may give us somewhere in the region of the 50 moving average. So if it does close below there, that would be the obvious next target. As I say, it has got support there at the 200. It's got potential support off the 21 as well. So there's plenty of support opportunities there, which may give it at least a short-term bounce. But for me, it's still looking a tad bearish. It'll be interesting. There may be some of the big boys sitting there, the bigger brokers, bigger institutions, looking at buying it around this area. I'm not sure. It would be a logical area that they may look at with the double bottoms, etc., as they think there's still some potential for the euro to run up or the dollar to come down, whichever way you look at it. On the shorter time frames, we came pretty air kissed that 200 moving average there. It's run up since. We've got some potential resistance levels not a long way away from us now, which may just may provide some further resistance there. And then on the 60-minute point of view, the one thing that we haven't yet done is gone up and hit the daily pivot, which is there's a reasonable chance of. But we are seeing sort of quite some bearish continuation signs in terms of the 50s crossed the 200, which is quite a bearish sort of sign. I mean, okay, it's just really confirming that there's a bearish trend in there. That doesn't mean so we wouldn't see price move up to it, but it is a bearish signal all the same. But as I say, price can run upwards, even though that's crossed. Yeah, for some time it may even uncross itself. But it's more of a confirmation that we're in a sort of more of a bearish run. Okay, so that's the euro. Let's come back onto the daily chart and then switch across. Let's have a look at the ES futures here. Still in a good daily sort of pattern in a sense, although we put what's looking like we're about to put a bit like the euro in a sense. We've got the potential, if we break this low here, we'll put a lower high in, but we've got the 50 coming up fast behind. So this may give some support if this 21 doesn't give the support in the first place. It's sat right back on that, and it's back on its monthly pivot, so it could get its bounce from here as we move closer and closer to the US elections. We may still see some more of a bounce coming through. As I say, it's at sort of pretty close to that sort of key point when you're getting close to the previous lows there, because if it does fail, well then we'll probably get a 1-to-1, which probably only brings us down to the 50 anyway, maybe a little bit further. But the odds are still reasonably good that we could see some, even if we get a further move down, that we may get a bounce towards the end of the month. Okay, let's just look at the shorter time frames, S&Ps. Okay, so it's come off its, let's say, bouncing off its monthly pivot, sitting here, putting a little bit of a bounce in. There's some potential from this move here. It's not the strongest of signals I'm seeing here, but there's potential for it to come up to its shorter moving averages, such as the 8, and find further resistance for a continuation of this downside trend that we're sitting in at the moment. Very short term, right bang into the 21 here, and this may just cap it out for now. In this light volume period, sometimes these key moving averages will hold, other times it just sort of sidesteps through them, so it's a bit light at this time of day for the S&P's futures. Right, let's have a quick look, come back here, let's set myself back on the daily chart, and let's have a quick look at gold to finish up with. Gold's been it's been teasing with that 800 area. I don't think we quite managed to plug into it. We got pretty close to it, $5 away. I just still think there's a reasonable probability we'll get up there the way it's running. Although what we have posted earlier on a few days ago was we did manage to get a new high in. And if you really look at it compared to this high here, or even actually with this high, it's probably okay. It wasn't diverging, but it certainly was diverging with the high here, and perhaps that's been negated. So I'll ignore that for a moment. But with the price running up and the RSI generally running down, it didn't look like the strongest of moves, but it just had such a solid move up leading into sort of mid-September. Early mid-September, then it's just consolidated a lot more, maybe ready for another a push up, and that sort of 1800 number, I just wonder if it's been sold into short of that all of the time. If it gets up there, whether it will get a bit of a boost on with their stops placed above it, we'll see, but I still think there's a reasonable chance of it running up into that sort of region. On the shorter time frame, for anyone that's playing it on the shorter time frame, well, it's probably not looking quite so strong at the moment. It's in this descending channel at the moment. Let me just draw that on for you. When I'm saying it's on the descending channel, just whoops. Let's remove that. Never play with lines. There we go. Somewhere in that sort of region, so we're in that descending channel. It hasn't hit its monthly pivot yet, so there is a chance it could just come down and tap onto its monthly pivot before it finds a bit of support here. Okay, I think that will do for the update. I wish you all a great week's trading. I'll be back next week. Kevin will be back on Friday. I understand if you're still interested, we've still got the course on Sunday. I'm not too sure whether it's too late for Sam to put anyone else on it, but if you're interested, and just remind you that's on Sunday, so better get some preparation done for it. Right, I'll catch you later. Have a great week. Bye for now.